topic being price adjustment strategies. Here the first one is discount and allowance pricing. Reducing the prices to reward the customer's response, such as paying early or promoting the cash product, is called as discount and allowances pricing. For example, for cash discounts, that is, if a customer is paying cash impromptu on the purchase, is called as cash discount, or giving a quantity discount on purchase of bulk orders, or functional discount if the buyer is doing some other function also along with the function of buying, probably taking care of the warehousing or taking care of the transportation of the goods to his or her end, calls for something called as a functional discount, or the seasonal discount, that is, when a buyer is buying the products at an off-season or when it is not required, calls for seasonal discount. Next being discriminatory pricing. Firms will often adjust their basic prices to allow for differences in customers, products, and locations. In discriminatory pricing, the firm sells a product or service at two or more prices, even though the difference in prices is not based on the difference in cost. The different kind of discriminatory reasons used is customer, time, location, etc. For example, electricity is charged at different rates to the industrial customer than compared to the household customer. This is discriminatory pricing on the basis of customer. Whereas charging different rates for the same movie but at different timings is called as discriminatory pricing on the basis of timing. Whereas charging differently for different geographical locations for the same product is discriminatory basis on the basis of location. The third being psychological pricing. It applies the belief that certain prices or price ranges make the products more appealing to the buyers than others. In using psychology pricing, sellers consider the psychology of prices and not simply the economics. Various cases are, first, pricing based on perception. That is, you can actually price your product on the basis of what is your product perceived as or the value of your product perceived by the customers. This is called as perception pricing. Second one can be the reference pricing. That is, how does your product get connected to any other previous product? For example, while going for a television, customers have a reference in their mind that a color TV would be way more expensive than that for a black and white TV. Psychologically pricing your product on a way higher basis than a black and white TV on the basis of reference pricing is called as psychological pricing. And finally, the third part of psychological pricing is odd pricing. How many times have we come across products with 99 rupees only, or 199 rupees only, 299? This is a classic example of odd pricing for psychological pricing, because the customer feels he is not paying 100 rupees, but he is still paying in the 90s range when it is 99, though it is just 1 rupee short for 100 rupees. The next one being value pricing. This is offering just the right combination of quality and goods and services at a fair price. In many cases, value pricing has involved redesigning the existing brands in order to offer more quantity and quality for a given price or the same quality for less. For example, Bajaj Auto Limited has its slogan which reads "Value for money," which clearly indicates that the products are highly budget sensitive. The next being promotional pricing. In promotional pricing, a lower than normal price is used as a temporary ingredient in a firm's selling strategy. Some promotional pricing arrangements form part of a recurrent marketing initiatives. Some may be to introduce a promotional model or brand with special pricing to begin competing in a new market. The following cases are used while promotional pricing. First, loss leader pricing. Here, the seller purposefully reduces the price of a known brand or a product so as to attract the customers to his place, and in the anticipation that once the customers are attracted, they would buy a lot more additional products which would compensate for the reduction in the previous pricing. The second case being special event pricing, wherein special events or occasions are used to create extra discounts and give extra special offers to the customers and attract them to their stores. The examples as covered already initially could be the Diwali offer or the Ugadi offer or the Akshaya Tritiya offer, etc. Next being lower interest financing, longer payment terms, longer warranties. How many times have we heard this? Zero interest charge paying. You can pay the same product and buy it for like 10 installments, or that also you will get warranties up to 1 year or 2 years free on immediate purchase. All of these are examples of promotional pricing. And finally, psychological discounting. Psychological discounting is a scenario wherein the actual price and the reduced price both are very exemplary, available and noticeable to the customer, so that he has a feeling that he is getting the product at a highly reduced price, and which will induce his psychology in picking up the product. The next being geographical pricing. Geographical considerations strongly influence prices when cost must cover the shipping, heavy, bulky, low units cost materials. Buyers and sellers can distribute the transportation expenses in several ways. Firstly, either the buyer can completely bear the transportation cost, or the seller can completely bear the transportation cost, or the third way wherein they can split it in a mutually agreed manner. The various strategies here used are uniform delivered pricing, that is, no matter which geographical location the buyer is located at, the seller would charge one uniform pricing for his particular product. The second being FOB origin pricing, that is, free on board origin pricing. Over here, the seller would only put his goods on board, and the transportation charge to the final end user customer has to be borne by the buyer. And next being the zone pricing. Here, two different prices are set for different zones. All the locations which fall under one particular zone would have one pricing, whereas all the locations in the second zone would follow the alternate pricing. And finally, the last one is international pricing. A wide variety of internal and external conditions can affect a marketer's global pricing strategies. Internal influences include the firm's goals and marketing strategies, cost of developing, producing and marketing the products, the nature of the product, and the firm's competitive strength. Whereas the external influences include general conditions in the international market, especially those in the firm's target market, regulatory limitations, trade restrictions, competitors' action, economic events, customer characteristics, and the global status of the industry.